And so, with this episode of Zankyou no Terror, a theory has been debunked. Lisa and Shibazaki are not family. They are not father and daughter. They are not. Because in this episode, we find out Lisa's last name, and we already know Shibazaki's last name, and they're not the same at all. So, the theory around Lisa and Shibazaki being father and daughter, it's been completely debunked unless, Lisa has a different last name for some reason compared to Shibazaki. So, right now, everybody can rest easy, anyone that theorized that entire hypothesis. So, besides that, let's talk about the beef of this episode, okay? I'm going to point this out real quick before I actually start talking about the plot and stuff. I find it very interesting, very, very interesting how 9 and 12 messed with the footage, the camera footage, okay? And they made the footage go back 5 minutes. Basically, they went back 5 minutes when the camera footage got messed with, and the funny thing is, it really goes with, 5's name. For instance, 5, and then they reversed the camera footage 5 minutes in the past, and so I like that a lot, how they use the numbers. Like, I noticed Zankyou no Terror loves reusing, different, numbers. They love making numbers have, connections with the characters' names, and that is something very entertaining. I don't know if anyone else really realized that or not, because, the footage was repeating every 5 minutes, and then 5, her name is 5. So besides that, let's talk about this episode. Okay, so at the end of this episode, Shibazaki helps out his greatest enemy. Pretty much, I'm guessing the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That phrase we hear a lot in different anime and different series like that. Well, Shibazaki helps out Sphinx number 1 and Sphinx number 2, and technically 3 this episode, and helps take down 5's plan to destroy the airport, the gate, the part of the airport, and kill a bunch of people. And so, with this episode that comes to light, okay, Shibazaki now knows that 9 and 12 technically aren't that bad. I mean, of course he's still gonna have to arrest him. It doesn't change the fact that they did put up bombs and they did try to threaten people and they did explode fucking buildings, so they technically can be charged for terrorism, destroying government property, stuff like that. So technically 9 and 12 can still be arrested. They're still technically bad guys. But with this episode, Shibazaki now realizes probably he'll make some form of connection that 9 and 12 do not want to kill people. He'll probably make that connection probably next episode, because he'll realize in different cases in the future, he'll probably realize the connection like, oh, they're not going to kill no one. They'll probably deactivate the bomb or something, because this definitely shows a weakness in 9 and 12. Speaking of weaknesses, okay? With this episode, 5 actually mentions something very interesting that can be used as a phrase, for instance, later on in the series, like something that might, help out with what most likely is going to happen. Okay, so 5 says that Lisa is another weakness to 9 and 12. Another weakness. One of the other weaknesses I know I could point out from 9 and 12 is that they do not want to kill anyone. It's clear as day that they don't want to kill no one. I mean, they went out of their way to stop this bombing. I mean, I understand they saved Lisa, okay? They saved Lisa. But they went out of their way to even save the people in the airport that was going to get killed by the bomb with the plane. I mean, even after Lisa got out of it. So, it goes to show you that, that is one of their other weaknesses. And if Shibazaki does key in on this, he's not really going to have to worry about the bomb threats, because most likely they will turn off the bomb right before it detonates. So, besides that, 5. Let's get into, a little bit more depth with her. So 5 as a character, she seems to be set up more as a villain than 9 and 12. She seems to be the main antagonist, she seems to be the main conflict between the characters, and now Shibazaki knows that, there's something else going on in the police force, the FBI and stuff like that. 5 is not a good person at all. Shibazaki now realizes this, he sees the connection, but it has me worried. One thing really has me worried. 5 has a lot of connections. To be able to control phones, control, the FBI and police force, being able to control an airport and control the different screens and monitors to make chess moves, it shows you she has a lot of power. I've said this before. And the thing is, since she has a lot of power, and usually this type of anime or series work like this, I feel like all the events that happen are going to be swept under the rug. It's going to be blamed on Sphinx 1 and 2, and at the exact same time, I think Shibazaki is going to take a major hit from this. For instance, I feel like most likely he's going to be charged or something. He might, be charged for having a connection with Sphinx number 1 and 2. I don't know. But I feel like Shibazaki is going to be charged for rushing into an airport with a gun, holding a gun to an airport attendant or a police officer or whatever, and forcing him to turn the plane. I mean, I know they could easily be investigated and they could find out that the plane had a bomb on it and Sphinx number 1 and 2 didn't do it, and that most likely the airport was controlling it, but it doesn't change the fact that since 5 has so much power, she could possibly tamper with the evidence and different stuff like that, and which in turn could cause it to where Shibazaki takes the blame. So, we'll have to see what happens. I really am curious to see what happens with that entire event, but I do want to bring up Lisa. Now, Lisa as a character, she's gotten a lot of flack. For instance, I've seen a lot of people complain about her, and I've also seen a lot of people defend her. I've seen, half and half, 50-50 pretty much. There's one side that defends her, one that doesn't. And, really, I have nothing wrong with Lisa as a character. I really don't. She's there as, I'm guessing, the person that can talk to us. For instance, she's us. That's exactly what Lisa is. She's us in her perspective. For instance, just put yourself in her shoes, and that's exactly who Lisa is. She is the person that has the connection with the audience. Because, I mean, if you were to see terrorists blowing up shit and all that, I mean, you'd probably have the similar reaction as Lisa. Honestly, let's just be fucking honest, okay? And so, Lisa's technically us, and I find that really awesome how they have a connection with the viewers. That's something I really enjoy. And I can see how people can call her very plain, stereotypical, or useless. Technically, from this moment of this series, she really hasn't been useful. I am going to be honest there. She hasn't. I know she's going to have a bigger role later on. She's very cute. I like her character design. She's very cute. But, I mean, I highly doubt she's not there to just be there. I think she's going to have a major role in the future. Either she's going to be the person that brings down 9 and 12 and causes them to fail, or she is going to help them and save their ass at the end. One or the other. I see one of those two things happen, or she could possibly die and change 9 and 12. I'm just rolling off theories, because, I mean, nobody knows technically what is going to happen with this series, so we'll have to see when the final episode comes. Now, one thing, though, I will say, with this episode, though, I can see how a lot of haters of Lisa most likely will dislike her for one certain event. I understand she fucked up with the bomb, okay? But she got captured and pretty much turned into a damsel in distress. That's exactly what she got turned into. Let's just be straight on honest here, man. I mean, let's be real. She got turned into a damsel in distress, and she had to be saved by 9 and 12. I mean, you gotta think, okay? I mean, I see how people will complain, but I don't see much issues with it, but she technically was just a princess. So, tell me your thoughts, everybody. I love all of you so much. You have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.